Immerse yourself in English.
Hey Emma. You've got it so easy, huh? Sitting there, all relaxed, sipping coffee and reading. I'm out here struggling with my English again. It feels like no matter what I do, I just can't get fluent.
Kevin, it's not that I don't struggle too. But English fluency isn't impossible. It just takes practice. You know, one of the first things I'd suggest is to really immerse yourself in English.
Immerse? Like how? What do you mean exactly?
I mean, surround yourself with English all the time. Think about it, watch English TV shows, listen to English music, read English books, even change the settings on your phone and social media to English. The more you're exposed to it, the more it'll start to feel natural.
But I watch shows with subtitles sometimes. Does that count?
Sure, but try watching without subtitles or with English subtitles instead. It forces you to focus on the words and context rather than relying on translation.
That sounds tough. But I guess I could try. So, it's like creating an English bubble around me, right?
Exactly. You want English to be everywhere in your daily life, at home, on your phone, even when you're out shopping. You'll pick up a lot just by being surrounded by it. Practice speaking regularly.
Alright, I can do that. But even when I'm surrounded by English, I still get super nervous when I have to speak. You know that feeling? Like the words are right there, but they just won't come out.
Oh, absolutely. It's common. The key here is to practice speaking regularly. The more you speak, the less nervous you'll feel.
But who am I supposed to talk to? I don't have many friends who speak English.
That's okay. You can start by speaking to yourself. I know it sounds weird, but it helps. Try narrating your day in English, like I'm making breakfast or I'm walking to the store.
Talking to myself? That's going to feel odd.
It might, but it really works. You could also record yourself speaking. That way, you can listen back and see where you might need improvement.
So, the idea is to get used to hearing my own voice in English?
Exactly. It's like training your brain to get comfortable with speaking out loud. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes. Plus, you'll be able to pinpoint where you're struggling and fix it.
I'll try that. I guess there's no harm in talking to myself, right?
Learn from your mistakes.
But you know what really stops me? I'm terrified of making mistakes. What if I say something wrong and people laugh at me?
Oh, Kevin, everyone makes mistakes. It's totally normal. In fact, mistakes are your best teachers.
Teachers?
Yes. Every time you make a mistake, it shows you where you need to improve. If you never make mistakes, how will you know what to work on?
So, I should just embrace my mistakes instead of avoiding them?
Exactly. Each mistake is a step closer to fluency. The more mistakes you make, the more you'll learn. And trust me, no one's going to laugh at you for trying.
Easier said than done. But I guess you're right. I should stop being afraid.
Expand your vocabulary.
Another thing I struggle with is vocabulary. I just don't know enough words. I often get stuck trying to think of the right word to say.
That's a common problem when learning any language. One way to solve that is to expand your vocabulary gradually. Learn a few new words every day and actually use them.
A few words a day? That sounds like a lot to remember.
Not if you do it the right way. Use flashcards or vocabulary apps. Write the words down and use them in sentences. For example, if you learn the word delighted, instead of saying I'm happy, you can say I'm delighted.
I like that. It's about upgrading my vocabulary, right?
Exactly. You can start replacing basic words with more advanced ones. Little by little, your vocabulary will grow. And soon, you'll be using them without even thinking about it. Think in English.
But here's the thing, whenever I try to speak, I still think in my native language first. Then I translate it into English, and by the time I do that, the moment's gone.
Ah, I see. That's where thinking in English comes in. If you want to be fluent, you have to train your brain to think directly in English.
But how do I do that? My thoughts are naturally in my native language.
Start small. For instance, when you're doing simple tasks, like making coffee, try narrating the steps in your head in English. I'm pouring water, I'm stirring the coffee. Eventually, it'll become a habit, and you won't need to translate.
I've never thought of it that way. It sounds like something I could practice daily.
Yes, and over time, you'll notice that you respond in English without having to translate. It'll just come naturally. Focus on pronunciation.
But what about pronunciation? I feel like people struggle to understand me sometimes because I pronounce words wrong.
Pronunciation is definitely important for fluency. It can be tricky, but with some focused effort, you can improve.
How?
Start by identifying which sounds are difficult for you. In English, many learners struggle with the th sound, like in think or that.
Oh yeah, that sound is so confusing.
Exactly. You can watch pronunciation videos on YouTube or use apps that focus on how to pronounce specific sounds. Practice repeating words and recording yourself. You'll be surprised how much progress you can make.
That's a good idea. I'll make sure to practice the sounds that are hard for me.
Step 7. Listen actively.
My listening skills need a lot of work too. I often miss things when people speak fast.
That's where active listening comes in. Don't just hear the words, focus on them. Pay attention to how people say things, the intonation, and the speed.
Active listening?
Yes. When you watch English shows or listen to podcasts, don't just zone out. Really focus on the words, how they're pronounced, and the flow of the conversation.
That makes sense. So, it's more about training my ears to pick up the details?
Exactly. And after you listen, try repeating what you've heard. It helps reinforce the language in your mind. Practice conversations.
I guess I also need more real conversations in English.
Definitely. Practice is key. The more you engage in actual conversations, the more confident you'll get.
But what if I don't have anyone to practice with?
You can join online language exchange groups or find a language partner. Even chatting with people on social media in English helps.
That's true. I've seen some language exchange platforms. Maybe I'll try them.
Be consistent.
I feel like I've tried these things before, but I never stick with them long enough.
That's the key, consistency. You have to practice every day, even if it's just for 15 minutes.
Every day? That sounds exhausting.
It's all about creating a habit. Start small and keep it manageable. Soon, it'll become part of your routine, and you won't even think about it.
So, it's like brushing your teeth, something you just do every day.
Exactly. Consistency is the secret sauce for fluency. Stay positive and motivated.
What if I get discouraged? Sometimes I feel like I'm not improving at all.
That's normal. Fluency takes time. The important thing is to stay positive and keep your motivation up. Celebrate the small wins along the way.
Small wins?
Yes. Like understanding a conversation without asking for repeats, or watching a movie without subtitles. Each of those moments is proof that you're improving.
I guess I should stop being so hard on myself.
Exactly. Enjoy the process, and before you know it, you'll be speaking fluently and confidently.
Thanks, Emma. You've given me a lot to think about. I'll definitely put these steps into practice.
You've got this, Kevin. Just keep going, and soon, English will feel like second nature to you.
Hey there, amazing viewers! If you find value in the content we create, and believe our channel is important to you, consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon. By doing so, you won't miss any of our valuable videos. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to share more exciting content with you. Subscribe now for more great content. Thank you.